But what we're going to deal with here is the difficult issue of resource over-allocation. As can be seen in this project, there is no over-allocation of resources. However, we are going to create an over-allocation of resources by changing a certain relationship. So for example, this one here, which requires researcher 1 and researcher 1. If I take the 1-day lag out, I then invoke what is known as resource over-allocation. Logically speaking, this means that researcher 1 is working on 2 days. He's working on 17 and 18. And for those 2 days, just for the 1 day, there is an over-allocation. Firstly, let's see how we can view the over-allocation. To do that, we split the screen by going to Details and activate the bottom half of the screen. Make sure some part is blue or some part is active, and then go down here to Resource Graph. If we click on the particular task, and then there's researcher 2, but we click on the particular researcher himself, we will see the over-allocation, which we don't see yet, but we need to scroll along, and we can notice here that there is an over-allocation on the 17th and the 18th, where we have more than 1 researcher required. We only have 1, we need 2. So that's how to see the problem. You can collapse this. Now what we're going to do is look at the different ways of resolving the problem. And to do that, I will invoke our manual and talk about that. There are 5 ways in project management how to resolve an over-allocation. This is now manually. I've resolved it automatically in another video. Firstly, adjust task relationships. So in other words, do the reverse what I've just done, which is to add more lag time in this case, or to change it from a finish to a start, because it's currently a start to a start. Secondly, to increase the maximum units of an available resource, we simply go and get another researcher 1 and assign him or her. Thirdly, assign a different resource to the over-allocated task. Determine whether you have other comparable resource available. This is the smarter method, in which you would get a student worker or someone else who costs less. And then fourthly is to allow overtime so they can work into the night. Okay, and fifth, one might want to extend working days and hours on the calendar. All right. So let's go and do one of those methods. Let's throw money at the problem firstly. Go to our resource sheet, go to researcher 1 and go and find someone just like him or her and increase your quota to 2. Notice the problem goes away. All right, the problem goes away. Let's undo that. The next way is in fact to do the following, is to change the relationship. So we can actually extend this by introducing a lag of 1 day. Problem disappears, which is the reverse of what I did just now. The other way is to do the following, which is to substitute with another resource. So let's create the resource problem again, remove the lag, and we have the resource problem. It is then to go to my resource sheet and to check other methods. So for example, I've got other people here. Let's say I go and hire a student, researcher, who's going to cost me significantly less, just doing a VAC job, etc. And then go back to my Gantt chart, and instead of my researcher 1 on the second job, I can substitute that with a student. Take researcher 1 out, and let's add the student researcher. There we go. Right, that resolves the problem. So that's using 3 of the methods that I indicated earlier. The others are changing the calendar. One would need to look at the actual video on changing the calendar a little later for that.